What's up, everyone? Hope you're doing awesome. Zack Miller here. I'm doing a two-screen style. I got a Facebook Live here, and then over here I have Instagram Live because I bought a new phone and I've been playing with Instagram more. So we're going to try out both. And then if you're listening to this at a later time, just audio or on YouTube, hello. So what's up? Hope you guys are doing well. Something crazy happened recently. You guys know that I don't talk a lot about my personal life. That is just something that I think is important. I don't like to talk a lot about things like that because that's my life and that's the decision that I made. So I don't even post a lot about big monumental things in my life, and I probably will continue to do that. But recently I'm going to tell you guys a story that recently I was installing a fence with a friend in my backyard. And he said something that I thought was really, really, really interesting. Something along the lines of, we were working for this day, and he said something along the lines of, "Hey, you weren't complaining, or you didn't bitch about this thing." And I was like, "Oh, that's really interesting. I don't know why I would, but I didn't." And so it made me realize that, and obviously I talk about this many times before, but how mindset is so important. And so when you go into something that might not be fun, to go into it with a positive attitude, because you'll make it so that that annoyance or that thing that is not great and is grunt work, you go into it with positivity. And so here I am putting in this fence. And by the way, like, it was a lot of work. Almost completely done with it. But there were a lot of, painful things, right? Moving this wood that was heavy. Trying to get screws in. All this stuff. And it made me realize, again, how important mindset is. And so if you go into something, you should go into everything with a positive mindset in my mind anyway. But if you go into a scenario where you know that it's not going to be luxurious, that it's going to be grunt work, that it's going to take a long time, little baby steps is so important. Chris says, the difference between an ordeal and adventure is attitude. Absolutely, right? So when something goes wrong, how do you handle it, right? And so kind of the same thing with, you guys know that I've gotten a couple copies of this recently, so I was able to order advance copies before the April 2nd date that it goes out. And for those of you who pre-ordered, I've been busting my tail getting these things out. And I'll tell you, again, it hasn't been necessarily easy because there's like 500 of them. I've already basically gone through the 500 that I ordered 500 of these bad boys. And basically they're all accounted for already. And so I'm sending these out. And again, it's one of those things where it just takes a lot of time. So I actually thought I was done. I did probably 45 this morning. And I'm going to be going to the USPS, the post office. And it'll be interesting because I'm going to be delivering these things. Obviously, these things are going to get delivered. And I don't know how long this whole process in line is going to take. So if you're about to go to the post office, you might want to go tomorrow. I'm not telling you which one I'm going to yet because I don't know which one I'm going to go to, but it might be bad news bears for whoever's in line waiting for me. But I have been basically signing these. I had to wrap them. What I learned was that the easiest way to send media mail is to buy a bunch of long brown paper, cut it up, and then wrap these, and then put your name on it, their name on it, and go. That takes time, right? So when you have to get through hundreds of these, That attitude is important. Yes, it's busy work, it's grunt work, but when I really look back and think about it, I'm like, man, like, this whole process is something that I'm super grateful for. And the same thing, putting up a fence and like all these things that you want, things that are hard in life, things that are meaningful in life usually are somewhat hard to go through, right? That's the things that I'm going through, right? So much that I've been growing a beard for a month, whatever. But the things that you want usually are not things that take 2 seconds to accomplish. And I think that's something that a lot of people have forgotten in life and have forgotten recently. And I think it's a lost art. And those who do the little things, a lot of these books, that's what I'm saying, like, do the little things. If you do the little things, good things will happen in your life. But usually you have to get through something very painful and challenging to hit those big goals of yours. So, I want to be a best-selling author. I want to rule the world. I want to impact 1 million people. To do that, you got to get in the hands of a lot of people. And mindset is so interesting. It's so powerful. If you have a negative, I've had a negative mindset. I remember in the introduction of my book, and I promise I'm not going to just be like telling you guys to buy my book all the time. That's not me. But what I found is that when I was writing this introduction, I looked back and I was like, man, I was super negative at super times because I was around a lot of negative people. And once I got out of that scenario, positive things started happening because I was more positive, right? The more positive and the more positive people you put yourself around, the more likely you are to that effect to wear off on you and you become positive too. Same goes, I think it's super easy to be negative. So, get things done, right? Hustle, 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 move, good things happen. And so if you're going through something right now and it sucks and you hate it, think about changing that attitude. Think about going into it with a positive mindset, with a positive attitude, with a positive understanding that, okay, if I keep being negative, we only live once, so this whole negative thing is going to be something that just isn't, it's not fun. So, yes, bad things happen in life, and I get it. But the positive attitude that you have in life, good things will happen with it. So, I'm back to doing these weekday live videos. I took a little bit of a hiatus. Wasn't intended. The quick story on that is a lot of things have been happening in life. And I stopped a habit, and then I got to day 2 of stopping that habit, and then day 3, and then it turned into 5 weeks. I don't know that it's actually been 5 weeks. I don't know how many weeks it's been. But my point is this, is that once you get off that habit trail, it's hard to get back on. But we're here, and we're back on it. And I got 5 more of these to send out today. So I'll be working on that. Also, a couple side notes. For those of you who live in southeastern Virginia, as Eric Olson calls it, Virginia Beach, Virginia, a couple of things. I will be keynoting Sunday of Start Peninsula. So that'll be great. Giving a talk, telling people how to make big impacts in life, aka be the anomaly. Then I'm heading home to the Washington, D.C. area to keynote an event at George Mason University next week, and then a bunch of other stuff in between. I'm going to put together on my website, Zack Miller Says, a Find Zack Around the Country World portion, so you guys can follow that if you're interested. If you're listening audio only, appreciate you. If you're listening on Instagram, appreciate you. YouTube, appreciate you. Facebook, appreciate you. I love all of you. So, back to the grind of making things happen. Change your attitude, make it positive, and positive things will happen is basically the key. Peace.